Hello, welcome to Barcoding. I'm Jody Costa, Vice President of Marketing for Barcoding Incorporated. And as you can see, I am filming live from our location, our corporate headquarters in Baltimore, Maryland. I am selfie style, so hopefully this won't get overwhelming as the day goes on. But we have quite a special event for you today. We're here with our partner Zebra Technologies, and we have something really innovative and exciting to show you. This is our Coming to You Live event. So we'll be coming to you live from various locations with lots of new updates and exciting innovations. And our celebration with Zebra today is part of Barcoding's Celebration of Innovation Month. Barcoding is a supply chain automation and innovation company. We're focused on helping organizations be more efficient, accurate, and connected. So it only made sense for us to celebrate all the great innovations that are happening within our partner community and within our own company. And as part of that celebration of innovation, we are driving towards a very special new holiday that we're calling National Barcode Day. It is actually a registered day with the National Day calendar folks. It's celebrated on June 26th this year, and it'll be an annual event. And so we're going to have a little bit of fun with the Zebra team today and kind of walk a little bit back through history and then also look forward at what's to come. So I'm really excited about today. And again, we are live, so hopefully you will roll with us. And if we experience any technical difficulties, just hang in there. We have a chat, so like most of you are familiar with the Zoom, so feel free to add your questions to the chat and we'll get to them. And without further ado, we're going to go to our first location. So John and team, will you join me on camera, please? And I'm going to let you talk to us about where you're coming from and just get the party started.
Good morning, Jody. Thanks for being with us today, and thank you for your partnership. Always great to work with you. My name is John Panic. I'm the manager of the North America Briefing Program for Zebra, and we are live in the Gary Kless Experience Center in Lincolnshire, Illinois, in Zebra's headquarters. And I'm here with Juan and Sunny and Raul, and we're going to take you through a couple things throughout our center today, show you a few things about the Briefing Center, as well as some of our technologies, both old and new, as Jody had said. So here in the briefing program, what we do is we host hundreds of meetings per year with our customers and with our partners to come in and talk about our solutions, talk about the customer's unique problems and challenges. Here in Lincolnshire, we're set up by 4 primary verticals. Here I'm in the healthcare space right now. Behind me is retail, manufacturing, transportation, logistics, and some government and rugged field service applications as well. But customers come here and they bring their challenges to the table, and they get to meet with Zebra vertical managers, vertical marketers, product managers, the folks inventing our technologies, as well as those who are looking forward, those who are the futurists, and those who are incubating solutions at some of our nearby and neighboring labs. When customers and partners come to the Experience Center, we try to get them under the hood, look at some of the innovations that are right now ready for you and where you're going next as well. So let me just take you through a little bit of visual of the space. Like I said, here we're in the healthcare space. We're talking about positive patient ID. We're talking about employee communications in healthcare, making sure that the right people are given the right medications to the right patient at the right time. And behind me is retail. Retail is all about getting the right inventory to the right customer at the right time. If you go into most big box stores today, you're going to see Zebra's TC5 series, TC7 series serving customers. And it's been huge during COVID, because during COVID, there's been a lot of pick, packing, shipping, and picking and delivering out to the door, or people doing picking for you and buy online, pick up in store. A lot of that enabled with Zebra's technology throughout COVID. Let's go on past our manufacturing and T&L space. Some of our partnerships with some of the largest couriers companies in the world have Zebra devices for all the shipping to your door. The packages you're buying online for 2-day delivery, signature capture of customers at the point of delivery and B2B applications. Whether you're tracking your parcels being shipped or you're tracking items throughout the supply chain, we have the devices and some solutions and demos to share with you throughout the space. So let's go take a look at that. space is about 4,500 square feet and was designed in 2015. And last year, while we were shut down for COVID, we did a little bit of a remodeling to add a little bit more space so that a little bit more innovation could be shared. And you could not be chained to a conference room table and come in here to view PowerPoints. We come in here to pick up the devices and walk around, interact with the portfolio as much as possible. Let me take you around to the front here. Jody started off talking about innovations, and Zebra's always been an innovative company. Our founder, Gary Kless, a #1 innovator. Before he passed away in 2016, he was very excited about the acquisition of the Motorola Enterprise business. But he had some great stories to tell, and that's the reason the space is named after him. But we want to take you back. I'm going to turn it over to Juan to take you back to some of the very first products that came from Zebra Technologies and the predecessor company, Data Specialties.
Thank you, John. Juan Calvo here, and I'm going to show you a little bit about where everything came from. So this product here is called the NC2400. This was actually Zebra's first product when the company was called DSI. The company was founded in 1969 with that name, Data Specialties Incorporated. And this product was actually a tape punch machine. For those of you who know about old technology, punch tape was the very first form of data storage, or to store a program that you will then run in a computer. Before magnetic storage, like a hard drive or a floppy drive was invented, data was stored in this type of tapes. So this machine will punch the tapes on with the data that you wanted to put on them. So this technology is probably 50 years old or more, and it was Zebra's very first product. This one here is called the Zebra 130, and this one was the first barcode printer released around the early 80s. It looks very similar to some of the printers from nowadays in terms of the form factor, but the technology was very different. All the adjustments, if you think about darkness settings, or if you want to make it direct thermal transfer, everything was hardware based. So the printer has switches and knobs that you had to adjust to set everything on the printer. So it was definitely more complex. The only connectivity option was serial, and the printer had an option to add a second serial port for daisy chaining one printer to the next, and that was the form of networking printers back then. So very early technology. The Zebra 60, this was actually a 60 millimeter, hence the name, with a printer, and it was only direct thermal. This is also from the 80s. And the Zebra 90 was from the early 90s. This was a 90 millimeter printer that was also from the early days. So as you can tell, technology has evolved quite a bit. In terms of the intelligence and everything that you can do with a printer nowadays compared to the past, there's a big difference. So we talk about the concept of print DNA. And to go into more detail on that, Sonny is going to give us an overview of print DNA.
Thanks, Juan. Yeah, for the next portion of the webinar, we're going to touch on our print DNA portfolio. It's really a key aspect to Zebra's strategy. If you look at all of the different businesses that Zebra has, the mobile computing, the barcode scanning, and the printers, we all have a software DNA strategy. And that software DNA strategy is really key to Zebra. It really helps the printers go beyond just printing. If you take a look at this slide, you could see it's a unique ecosystem of software capabilities, tools, which allow you to take better management of your printers, allows you to have better visibility into your printers. And just to call out a couple of them, from a simple side, we have software that can actually make it easier to Bluetooth pair your printers to a smartphone, for example, to our virtual devices, which allow you to emulate other printer languages that might be in a customer's infrastructure, all the way to our Printer Profile Manager Enterprise, which allows customers to manage their printers from a centralized location, make it easier for setup, device troubleshooting, maintenance, making it easier for IT staff, in a global rollout to be able to manage their printers and have that visibility into the printers. Another key aspect of Print DNA is our Print Secure suite. So Print Secure ensures that your printers have the latest defenses against any vulnerabilities or threats that might be out there. All of these aspects add up and take the printers to heights that I think the legacy printers could only have dreamed of. And with that, I'd like to transition over the presentation. If you guys will walk with me, we're going to transition the presentation over to my colleague, Raul Garcia, who is going to get into a little bit more into the current generation of Zebra printers.
Hi, everybody. I'm Raul Garcia. I'm Global Product Manager for the Industrial Premium line. Today I'm just going to be talking an overview of our product line. And one thing I always kind of think about is when printers work, you really don't think about them. You really don't think about processes. But when a printer doesn't work, that's when you really need to focus 100% of your attention. So, if you have 100% of your attention, you're focusing on downtime, missed shipments, delays. And, when it comes to printing, it should be easy. It should be hassle-free. So that's why we always try to think about our Zebra printers as being hassle-free. We do want to be top of mind for you, but at the same time, the printer should just work. This one in particular comes from our ZT600 series. This is a ZT610. It's our 4-inch model, and this is our beast. This is our mission critical printer. It's all metal construction, all metal spindles. This printer is made to be in a tough warehouse environment. It could be dusty, dirty. You have high volume of label printing. This printer technically you could run 24/7. So if you have an important labeling printing process, the ZT610 is a great model to utilize. And you can see here now, we have come out with a 4.3 touch screen. So it's very intuitive, easy to use, lets your end users know if it's in a pause mode or if labels are out, it should be flashing red, or if the print head's up. It just gives your users an alert from a distance. So here you can just see the power and really the crispness of your labels. Again, you're not typically thinking about that, but this is this one in particular is a 600 DPI printer. So when you're thinking mission critical, think of the ZT610. I want to move next to our ZT411. So technically, the ZT411 is our most popular printer in the industry. So this one comes into our mid-range family. Still outside all metal construction, but with some high polymer plastic. So still very powerful and very easy to use. In our product line, in the ZT600 or the 400, RFIDs is an option. And so in this one in particular, this has the RFID UHF module already installed. And we're utilizing something called Print Station right now. So with Print Station, I don't need a PC or anything. I'm wired in with a scanner. And what I'm going to be doing is printing and encoding a label right away. So you can see that printing out a label, and then with our RFID inlay, that's a ZBR 4000 inlay. So that's one of Zebra's own inlays.
Also, note that this is printing with a Zebra barcode scanner.
Yes. So this is our scanner. So this technically could be wired. This could be Bluetooth. This could be wireless using a handheld. So again, Print Station, part of Print DNA that Sonny had brought up in his presentation.
Thanks, Raul. Moving on down the line here. So we've got a selection of printers here. We've got our desktop printers. This is our ZD621. This is the newest printer in the line. You can see it's got the color touchscreen on here, which is actually the same color touchscreen that's on the industrial printers. So gives enterprises that same consistent look and feel, makes it easy for them to implement these printers throughout their facilities. And this printer actually has a battery attached to it. So the desktop printer can actually be made into a mobile printer if you're using it on a cart or just need to have a desktop printer in a mobile space. Moving on to our mobile printers, we've got the whole product line here showcased. We've got the different print widths, 2-inch, 3-inch, 4-inch width printers. The 600 series is typically what you would use for a label type setting. And then we also have our receipt printers. So anytime you're doing a field service type application and you need to provide a bill of lading or some kind of a receipt of goods, you're able to do that with a durable ZQ 500 series. So I think the next part we want to move on to is our supplies. And I think Raul is going to give you a quick overview over our supplies.
Yeah, really, I always say, don't forget about Zebra Genuine Supplies. When you're looking for high quality supplies and that really work, Zebra has a huge zip ship catalog. We have over 300 plus materials that are certified, and those are stock labels ready to go. We have 4 US converting plants throughout the nation. So again, we have everything from paper thermal transfer to synthetics, to RFID technology, and even to cards. So feel free to contact your barcoding rep to do a label assessment and printer assessment. And really, we're here to help. And thank you for your time and your attention. Jody, we're going to send it back to you.
Yes, I was hoping for that. Thank you guys so much. We actually have a question for you. And as you can see, I've actually moved locations myself. But the question is, Zebra, what do you recommend for a protective cover or dust shield for your industrial printers when they're in the dirtiest of environments?
So I'll take that real quick. So if you're in a dirty environment, we always recommend to keep that door closed, because you don't want any dust or debris landing onto the label material or tag material and bringing that straight into the print head. Because any of that debris and friction will wear down the life of the print head. So always keep that closed. That will help prolong the life. But really, the ZT600 is made for those type of environments. Awesome.
Thank you so much. John, Raul, Juan, and Sunny, great work. The Executive Briefing Center is looking amazing. So obviously, if you would like to see that live now that things are opening up, we would be very excited to help you with that. So contact Barcoding, will help you, and we'll come back to that in a little bit. But next, I want to bring up our next location, our next speaker, Eric Hilton. Will you join me on camera, please? Hey, Eric.
Hi, Jody. Hi, everybody.
Hey.
Thanks for having me today.
You're welcome. So tell us a little bit about where you are.
Absolutely. I am
probably some questions, and then
I am coming live. I am coming live to you from Troy, Ohio. It's my hometown. It's also the birthplace of the barcode. The first barcode, as we know, was scanned at a Marsh supermarket in Troy, Ohio. It's not a Marsh supermarket today. Fun fact, it's a liquor store. Furthermore, that liquor store manager doesn't take too kindly when you ask if you can record from his location. So I have a virtual background of a picture I took of the liquor store. So really excited to be here. Really excited to have the fun fact of living and making my hometown the same birthplace of the barcode. It's just a few miles down the road. I will tell you, my extended family is very much less intrigued than I am about how cool it is to live in the birthplace of the barcode. But anyway, I get to focus on mobile computing for Zebra, and I get to specifically focus on the next generation of all of those great mobile computers that we utilize. And I've got some pictures here of some legacy mobile computers that we've offered back in the 1995 timeframe, about 25 years ago. You may recognize some of these depending on how long you've been working with Symbol, Moto, Zebra along the way, or even some Scion Techlogics devices. Lots of great devices, all running Windows CE or Windows embedded handheld, and all of those great functionalities and capabilities that came along with it. You can see the relatively simple interfaces and the technology, some of those pocket PCs and some of those PDT type devices that we were so strong with and so excited about. Now, when you take a look to the right, think about the progression of where we've come from since then. We've got lots of great devices now. We've grown our portfolio. We're looking at over 30 different devices in that portfolio. And this is what today's portfolio looks like. Whether it's purpose-built devices like those MCs, VCs, and WTs that are purpose-built for our industries and for the specific use cases that they serve, or If it's those devices that we're looking at that are highly versatile type devices, like we're talking about with the TCs and even Zebra's rugged tablet portfolio, excuse me, really important to note, we are really excited to announce, you'll notice some changes down here. Any of your devices that you see on the screens that are running that SD660 chipset, we recently got commitment from Qualcomm that they intend to support not just Android 10, not just 11 or 12, but all the way to Android 13 and 14. Really excited about that. So the days where we had Windows CE and we got a new release every 5 years or even every couple years, those days are gone. We're now looking at more and more operating systems moving more frequently, and we're doing everything we can to make sure we mitigate that those risks for you and help you upgrade on your path. Now, additionally, we are stepping outside of our traditional workflows, our traditional spaces where you see the multi-user, multi-issue type devices like the TC families. We are shifting into it, what we call an EC family, and we have some additional use cases and some additional devices coming along with it. The EC5, a great device targeting that individually assigned use case. When you think, man, I really want a light, sleek, ultra thin device, but I want all those enterprise grade features that I get with a Zebra device. That's the marriage of those two worlds coming to us with the EC5 with an integrated scanner and a rugged spec, a field replaceable battery, and lots of great technology that you would expect from Zebra along with that device, like I mentioned, in that individually assigned type workflow. Now, Sonny mentioned and talked about print DNA. Here we're talking about mobility DNA. All these tools are really important. If you're not taking advantage of them, I encourage you, take a look. There's all kinds of great technology that we have built on top of standard Android to make your life a little bit easier, whether it's deployment, configuration, management, giving you more insight into what the device does or how it works. For example, worry-free Wi-Fi. Let me give you a lens of what your Wi-Fi network looks like through the lens of the device. How many access points does it see? Does it see 0? I've got a dead spot. Does it see 15? That means the device doesn't know what to roam to, so it's constantly roaming and finding a better network. Power precision, where are my batteries at, and how? What's the life cycle left in that battery? And then up in the top left, we've got Workforce Connect, another extension outside of our standard workflows, being able to utilize these devices as two-way communication, whether that's one-to-one, one-to-all, or one-to-groups. Lots of great technology and lots of great offerings stepping outside of that standard workflow that we're looking at. Additionally, really cool, we're really excited about this. What if I could use my mobile computer as a mobile device when I want it to be mobile, but then walk up and drop it in a docking solution into a cradle, and now it's a workstation when I want it to be a workstation? So really cool technology. We do have it. It's included on every single device. The software is capable of it. You need a Workstation Connect cradle from Zebra, and that's what's going to offer you an HDMI port, USB ports, all kinds of great technology. And you can now utilize that device as the brain of an entire workstation and be fixed when I want to be fixed, or be mobile when I want to be mobile. Think now, instead of deploying mobile devices and actually deploying fixed workstations, now I can deploy just workstation cradles with a bunch of peripherals. Really excited about this technology to the point that I actually ran this presentation from one of our that Workstation Connect cradle that you just saw. This is me utilizing this device. Let's go to a quick web page and show you what this looks like. I can type in all kinds of great information. I can utilize web pages. I can access any app. Let's figure out why that's not going. Oh, because I typed it wrong. If I type it correctly, then we'll go to zebra.com. So sorry about that. But we will, all kinds of great applications that you can utilize, again, as a fixed workstation, whether I want to be in person at a workstation in a type intensive environment, or I want a larger screen so that I can view what my workflows look like. And then I can come to zebra.com and find out all kinds of great information about all of our products, all of our solutions. And specifically, if I want to learn more about this solution, just go to the TC57 accessories guide. We'll pull it up here real quick and show that off. And if you flip into there, all publicly available, just Google TC5 accessories guide. You can scroll down and take a look. And I will tell you, there's some really cool stuff coming around this solution. We've got some new, we'll call it version 2.0, that's going to be coming here toward the end of the year. So get excited about that. Ping us with any types of questions that you've got. We're always here to offer support and help wherever we can. But with that, I appreciate everybody's time today. I know I went through a lot of information quickly, but we're here to support you, whether it's at your offices, virtually, or here in the liquor store with me, or at our ZEC up in Lincolnshire and Holtsville. We're always happy to support. So back to you, Jody.
Eric, thank you so much. Always tons of information. I love learning from you, my friend. I am still a little shocked, though, that your family doesn't appreciate the fact that you are living where the first barcode was scanned in a grocery store back on June 26, 1974, right? I can't believe that hasn't been an annual event in your house.
I know. My toddlers, I expected they wouldn't care, but my wife and my extended family, I expected they would care.
And so Hilton family, this is me to you. Care about the barcode.
Thanks, Jody.
Thank you, Eric. And as you heard, there's a lot more coming from Zebra, and we can't wait to find out more. So I am back in my location that I came to you last time. So this is actually Barcoding's headquarters. This is our services area and warehouse. I thought this would be a nice place for you to see, kind of get a little sneak peek of the work that's being done here. So I am going to go ahead and pass this off to Patrick. Patrick is we know you're gonna bring home the show. So welcome. Tell us where you're coming to us live from, and yeah, take it away.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having me. I'm coming to you live from Eugene, Oregon. And if you're saying to yourself, why? That's a good question. I'll come back to that in a second. I've been with Symbol Technologies for I'm 2 paychecks short of 30 years. Of not counting my chickens yet, but if everything works out right and my last drug test comes out okay, I'll be 30 years coming up on I think July 5th. So fingers crossed on that one. And why Eugene, Oregon? Think about that for just a second. And I should have made that one of the trivia questions. The answer is, prior to working for Symbol Technologies, I worked for a company called Spectra Physics. And if that name rings a bell, and it should, I'll come back to that. I'm going to talk about the history of the world in relationship to barcodes. A couple of thoughts on where we're at in terms of the state of the industry, and then I'm going to put on my futurist cap. And my job here in the company, I'm the chief slide flipper, the chief evangelist for the data capture group, and I'm the chief storyteller. And I guess now that makes me I guess I'm the barcode historian after being here 30 years. So the first item scanned in a real world environment was indeed not a pack of juicy fruit, but I believe it was a 10-pack or a 7-pack of juicy fruit. But I'll come back to that in a second too. It wasn't necessarily the first barcodes ever scanned, but it was the first one that ever worked. So I get this question a lot, and y'all gonna laugh at me. But when I started with Spectra Physics in 1998 as an intern, we went through intensive training to the point where I could literally draw a barcode freehand, and that was part of the training. We had to draw a barcode freehand, and it had to be able to scan. And that's how well we were trained and how well we knew the technology. And there is actually a book, and I'm not making this up. This is the barcode book. Somebody wrote a book on the topic. And actually, at one point in time, I counted how many barcodes there were in existence. And the answer is there's over 100, and there's actually more being invented all the time for a variety of reasons. Sometimes they're application specific, sometimes they're for proprietary reasons. But the barcode itself, the actual technology, the concept of what became known as machine vision goes back to just after World War II. So this fellow, Joe Woodland, who at the time was with Drexel University, it kind of popped into his head how to make Morse code a visual thing that could be scanned using machines. And he worked on that at Drexel University. And then a couple years later, he was hired by IBM. And that's why IBM is an important company to this day in that space. And now we know them as Toshiba Tech. Of course, they sold that business off. But that's where the barcode came from. And as the story goes, and as you learn in the barcode book, and this is my autographed edition of the barcode book, my second copy, because I wore the first one out. He actually he took a stick and he started doing doodlings in sand. And that's where he kind of got the idea of this machine vision thing. So that was the spark of inspiration, was Morse code, and then how to visualize Morse code. But it was the root of machine vision as we know it today. And here's a picture of Joe. He's no longer with us, and neither is his partner. They just died within the last decade or so, both of them. If you're interested, and I'm not making this up, the Smithsonian Institution has a display on barcoding, and there's a couple of our devices in there as well as a couple of spectrum physics devices. But, and this is a kind of a loss to history, Marsh Supermarkets, UPC, wasn't actually the first barcode scan. The railroad industry were the first industry to pursue barcoding and machine vision for rail cars. And there was a design competition going back to the 1960s. And something called Car Track by GTE, the same guys that used to make telephones, they won the design competition. Other companies, GE proposed RFID. A company called ABEX, I've never heard of, proposed a microwave system. But Car Track won, and it was a colored barcode, and it was a large format colored barcode. And long story short, it was a miserable failure. It didn't work. It was a great idea. Technology-wise, it just wasn't there. And part of the reason was these barcodes got dirty because trains are out in the wild, right? So it didn't work, and it was abandoned by the 1970s. But that was part of the genesis of the evolution of barcoding that led to the supermarket barcode as we know it today. And the UPC as we know it today on merchandise like this fellow right here, this wasn't the first idea. There were several, again, there was a design competition, and a lot of companies put forth some ideas, including RCA, the guys that used to make televisions, right? Their idea for the barcode was the Bullseye Barcode, or the circular barcode. Turns out that was a horrible idea as well. They can't all be hit records. The problem with the Bullseye Barcode is you had to get a bullseye to get the barcode scanned. Other than that, it was a pretty good idea, but that was abandoned pretty quickly. But these were some of the entrants in the lower right. These were some of the entrants in that design competition, and the big over-squared UPC as we know it today, or the Universal Price Code or Universal Product Code as we know it, was the design competition winner. But it wasn't technically the first barcode scan. There were experiments in Kroger using the RCA Bullseye Barcode, and of course that was a smoldering failure. The UPC was the first one that was scanned in real life in a real production environment. And if you're wondering what happened to Marsh Supermarkets, they didn't make it. They were heavily leveraged, and the reason that's a liquor store today is they went out of business and filed Chapter 7 in 2017. And they're no longer with us. Kroger absorbed about a dozen of their stores, and the rest of them became liquor stores and strip malls. So rest in peace, Marsh Supermarkets, an innovator to be sure. Now let's talk about that first barcode scanner. And there is a kind of an accident of history, and there's also some hard feelings here, to be brutally honest. I worked for Spectrum Physics from 1988 to 1992, and I was the guy that gave the tours at the factory, and I was intimately familiar with all the models. So when the customers would come in, I was the guy that would guide the customers through, take them to their production line, show them all the stuff. So Spectrum Physics was a laser physics company based in the Bay Area, and it made things like laser chromatography, laser plane levels. They're still in business to this day, and if you see like an earth mover that uses a laser plane level, that's a Spectrum Physics product. So Spectrum Physics was contacted by NCR, and they jointly developed this product together. But that scanner, the 255, also known as the Spectrum Physics Model A, was made right here where I'm sitting in Eugene, Oregon, and that's where I used to work. And ironically, my mother worked in the production line at Spectrum Physics, and that's how I got the job at Spectrum Physics. My mom worked there, so as I did for quite a while. So that first model was known as the Model A, and then they went through the Model B, C, D, and it wasn't until they got to the Model F, the ubiquitous Model F, that they had a hit record. The cool thing about these, and I'll show you a picture of the actual device that was manufactured about 2 miles right over here from where I'm sitting right now. This is the actual device, and this is also in the Smithsonian Institution. This had, and I'm working from memory here, but it had about a dozen printed circuit boards that were the large format circuit boards. It's a 220 volt power supply, 2 active cooling fans, and it sucked so much power that every time you scan a barcode, the lights would dim. But it worked. And I don't have relative perspective on this scale, but if you look at the picture in the lower right of the cashier standing there, that's how tall that scanner was. It was about 1 meter tall. And when we had to move these things for when we changed displays, we had to get a dolly, and it was a 2 to 3 guy operation to move these things. They weighed a ton. And today, this is where we're at. This is actually a live scanner. I can plug this in to make it work. So single circuit board, the entire scanner resides on this little chip right there. And then we just attach a photo sensor to it. But that's the entire scanner on this board. And this has an 800 megahertz processor. So about 3 orders of magnitude more processing power than that 12 circuit board design originally had. But this was the scanner. And again, this is in the Smithsonian Institution. We fast forward a couple of years to Symbol Technologies. And unbeknownst to most folks today, Symbol Technologies didn't start off making scanners. They started off making equipment to verify barcodes. And our first product was actually based on something called the LS100 that plugged into an external box. And that's why when folks started printing barcodes for the grocery stores, they had to verify those barcodes. And that was the first product that Symbol Technologies made. And that's where the name of the company comes from, Symbol Technologies. They were the barcode guys. They made the verification equipment. And then Jerome Schwartz, who is shown here with the President of the United States collecting his National Medal of Technology, got the bright idea to make a reader that was handheld. And at the time, that was science fiction. So laser tubes at the time, we used a Siemens 098 laser tube, and it was about the size of a neon light bulb. And they sucked an amazing amount of gas, and there were gas plasma. So you had to heat the plasma to generate a laser beam. And you did that with basically a really, really high-end, very expensive light bulb that you ran a lot of juice through. And the drop spec on the original products, the LS100 and the LS7000, the drop spec was 1. And that was pretty much it. A glass laser tube had no resilience whatsoever, but it worked. And the LS7000 was the first commercially viable product we manufactured. And at the time, these probably sold for call them $1989. These were selling for $1,500 a crack in 1989. At the time, they were state-of-the-art products, but they use a glass laser tube. And then around 1989, 1990, we came out with the first visible laser diode. In other words, a solid state that didn't involve a glass laser tube. And had you bought stock in Symbol Technologies in about 1990, you probably wouldn't be sitting here listening to me today. But that was our first commercially successful product up in the upper right. And then, that was the first product, was the LS100, the first handheld scanner. And that's what we based our patent on. Our entire company and the empire was founded on the monopoly that was granted to us via that patent. From there, we went into make mobile computers with a fortune that we made off of these scanners, and then wireless networking. And we're also one of the pioneers in the Wi-Fi Alliance. Where we're at today is, frankly, we've nearly abandoned laser scanners, and everything we make is just like this little guy right here, is a really high-end camera with a massive processor, which enables us to do some really cool things like intelligent document capture. I can shoot an entire page of graphics, for example, and store that. I can parse a driver's license. I can scan barcodes off of cell phones. And as we go forward, we'll be able to do some really cool things like what we call MDF. I can scan an entire sheet of barcodes, parse that, and send the data as I want to the host environment. And what's coming next is invisible barcodes. So this is actually some merchandise from a Wegmans, and it looks like regular merchandise. This is actually a sample of Digimark. It's a live sample from a Wegmans, and I bought 300 boxes of crackers just to get the boxes, by the way. That's another story for another day. But you can't even tell that there's a barcode on this, because it's completely invisible. And this is Digimark, and this is kind of the next thing. And if Digimark takes off, and Digimark is a publicly traded company, you can look them up. If this takes off, this will be the next big thing. This can only be scanned with high-end camera technologies, but it does some really, really cool things over and above what we can do with traditional scanners. I'm not going to belabor the portfolio, but here's a snapshot of what the portfolio looks like today. And we're investing almost nothing in laser scanning technology. Everything we're doing is image capture technology, and increasingly smart image capture technology. In other words, artificial intelligence and machine vision. So as I put on my futurist cap as part of my job here, I think about where we're going with technology, what needs to be in the next generation products, and where we're going with that. I see lasers, and our sales data bears this out. Laser scanning has had its day, and it's headed towards retirement, and that's fine. Camera-based technologies like like the one I'm having in my hand right here. This is the de facto global technology. And where we're going is we're merging this camera technology with artificial intelligence driven by really high-end cameras and really high-end processors. If you all saw the announcement we made on our machine vision products that we just released, those have octa-core 2.2 gigahertz processors that are capable of basically shooting a movie and scanning barcodes as it sees that video feed. Crazy stuff. And I'll give you a real world example of a product that we're making right now, our new MP7000. And in the lower right, it's not a great picture quality, but it's not made for taking high school graduation pictures. It's made for capturing pictures of produce. And today we are about 95% accuracy, plus or minus a biscuit, meaning when I put fruit on an MP7000, we take a picture of that via our inference engine. We check that against a database, and in sub-second time, we can tell you what kind of apple it is. Not that it's an apple, but what kind of apple it is. That's where the technology is going, and we're in the first innings. That technology is going to get really, really good, which leads me to think about where that technology might go. There will be a point in time when I probably don't need traditional barcodes or even invisible barcodes like Digimark. We will get to a point where there'll just be cameras that are taking live video streams, and they will recognize the object against the database in milliseconds. In other words, we may see a day when the traditional scanners are completely gone. And I think maybe 2 decades will be there. AI is getting better all the time. The inference engines we're already building, you've seen some of the acquisitions we're making. That's where we're headed. Cameras merge with AI, merge with these logical file schemes we're already building. And that's where we're going. We may see a day when the barcodes are gone. And I'm not going to be around, but that day will happen. And that's where it's going to go. And with that, I'll kick it back to you. Jody, take it away.
I think back there we go. Thank you, Patrick. That was amazing. I can see why you were a very good tour guide. That was it. Hopefully that everyone in the audience enjoyed that as much as I did. I learned a lot, and also I have so many questions about the cracker boxes, but I will also save those for another day. I would like to invite everybody actually to come back on camera, because this was, if you're still out there, please join me back, because I think this was an incredible experience. All the different live locations, the history, and as well as kind of the future view of where we're going. And I love that saying of like, you can't know where you're going unless you know where you've been. And I think that's partially what I was really interested and really excited about today, because I think the kind of that wonderful look back as we started at the Executive Briefing Center and kind of ended here with the history lesson, it really helps you understand the overall arc of our industry and the technology and what's possible out there for you and your company. Obviously, Zebra Technologies and Barcoding Inc., we are here to help. We are here to help you make the best use of these technologies now and in the future. And if you are still using any of the old devices that we showed today, you must absolutely call us right now and do not delay, because we'd really like to help. So I am now, obviously you can see I'm now in our conference room. Moved around a little bit more, but I wanted to end the day with not to put anybody, too much on the spot, but I would love to hear kind of some key takeaways from each of my groups. Just a little summary that you'd like to leave with the audience in terms of what you want them to remember from today. This is also for the attendees. This is your last call for questions, so go ahead and drop them in the chat if you have them. Otherwise, you can always follow up with this later. We'll be sending out a recap email. So, John, Executive Briefing Center team, what are those? What's that key takeaway you want to leave with the group?
Yeah, I would say the key takeaway is Zebra's brand message of capture your edge. And whenever a business is capturing their edge, where you capture your edge with your competitors, against your competitors, with your customers, wherever that happens, Zebra and Barcoding are there. And we have 3 centers in North America. We have this center here in Lincolnshire, Illinois. We have an RFID specific center in Germantown, Maryland, and our Holtzville, New York, in the middle of Long Island center is under construction, soon to be opened at the end of August. So work with Barcoding, come and visit us. We'd love to talk to you.
Awesome. Great job again. Thank you for walking us through. I cannot wait to come visit all the locations, but certainly Illinois and Maryland. So thank you for that. And we do know that those tours are available right now. So make sure you reach out and we'll get you set up. Eric in the liquor store in Troy.
Eric back in the liquor store.
Eric
Love
back
it.
in the liquor store. What do you got for us?
Yeah, I think ultimately just know we're here to help. We're here barcoding Zebra. We're here to be trusted advisors, no matter where you are on that technology curve. Whether you're still using the barcode scanner that's heated by a light bulb that Patrick mentioned, or if you're on the latest and cutting edge, using all kinds of great RFID and barcode scanning and all kinds of Android devices. If you're already there, great. But we're here to help and just engage us with the challenges that you're facing in your business, as John mentioned, and we'll hopefully help solve find some solutions together.
Awesome. Patrick, what do you got for us? What are those key
Three
takeaways?
things. First of all, the 300 box of crackers, I tried to donate to the soup kitchen, and the soup kitchen will not take them without the original packaging. So the only reason I bought the crackers was for the packaging, and they insisted on having the original. So,
No.
so the crackers went into the compost. And I glossed over a piece of chronology. So Spectre Physics begats PSC, begats Data Logic. So, and Data Logic still has a factory here in town. So what's left of the Spectre Physics empire is now owned by Data Logic via 2 acquisition. So again, just to reinforce, everything we're doing is camera-based. Scanners are getting manageable. They're getting intelligent. We're the worldwide leader. We're number 1 in market share by a lot. We're pulling away, and everything we're doing is in that space. So if you haven't really thought about getting up to speed in 2D, and if your customers aren't looking at 2D, get there quick. And I echo what Hilton says. Happy to help. My email is patrick.murphy@zebra.com. So shoot me a note if I could ever do anything for you all. Thank you all.
Thank you so much. And for everyone out there, you know, barcoding obviously here to help. We're going to focus on your process. We're going to focus on your users, and we're going to focus on the great technology that Zebra is bringing to the table. So all of those things in support of making you more efficient, accurate, and connected. Hopefully you all have enjoyed today very much. I'm hoping that there's a few guinea pigs here in this first row of offices that are willing to give a wave behind me, a little send-off wave. Thank you, guys. Just, you know, one more proof point that I really am live here in our headquarters. So thank you, Team Zebra. We really appreciate all the great information today. Again, you can reach out to us on barcoding.com. We can put you in touch with all of the experts that you've heard from today. And we'd love to set you up again with the executive briefing centers. And I guess if there's no other questions, which I'm checking the chat right now, I don't see any. I guess if that's all we've got today, you can certainly email us your questions, follow us on social media, and most importantly, because now you are all supply chain geeks with us, make sure you reserve June 26th and celebrate National Barcode Day with us. It's a great excuse to have a party and some cake and to celebrate a technology that truly has changed the world. So thank you, Zebra, for everything that you do. And it's been lovely, but I am actually gonna get back to my office. So thank you all very much, and we'll see you next time.